Did you grow up feeling like your parents' love was a transaction? Like you had to earn your place in the family by being obedient, by performing, only to be cast as the problem child the moment you showed your true self? Maybe you had successful, high-status parents, doctors, lawyers, professors, and the world saw this perfect family. But behind closed doors, you were the emotional dumping ground for all the family's problems. Your wins were glossed over, but your mistakes, they were magnified and put on display. You were taught to be grateful for the roof over your head, but that gratitude was used as a weapon to shut down your pain. If you've spent your life chasing an approval that always felt just out of reach, this is the permission you've been waiting for to finally stop. Because here's the truth they never taught you. You don't need their approval. You need your own respect. And today, we're going to start the work of taking it back. To understand how to reclaim your self-respect, you first have to see how it was taken. In many dysfunctional families, especially those run by narcissistic parents, children are given roles. You don't audition for these roles. They're assigned to keep the family system stable, no matter how toxic it is. There's often a golden child who can do no wrong. This child is showered with praise because they reflect the parents' idealized self-image. They are the family's trophy. Then there's the scapegoat. If you're watching this, you probably know this role all too well. The scapegoat becomes the container for all the family's unwanted feelings, their shame, their anger, their disappointment. You weren't a person. You were a function. Your purpose was to be the problem so that no one else had to look at their own issues. The family could point a collective finger at you and pretend they were all okay while you were all wrong. This whole dynamic is built on a foundation of transactional obedience. Love and acceptance weren't given freely. They were rewards for compliance. You got praise for good grades, for being quiet, for not having your own needs. But the moment you expressed an authentic feeling, a different opinion, or a personal need that conflicted with your parents' ego, the love was withdrawn. You were punished, shamed, or labeled difficult or too sensitive. This is the theft. Your inherent worth was stolen and replaced with a system of conditional value. You learned that your worth wasn't something you had, but something you had to earn over and over again. And since the rules were always changing, you were left in a constant state of anxiety, just desperately trying to prove you were good enough. Living this way leaves deep scars. That constant need for external validation becomes your default setting. You turn into a people pleaser, not out of kindness, but out of a deep-seated fear of abandonment. You learn to silence your own voice because you were taught your truth was a threat to the family peace. It gets even more complicated when your parents are highly respected in the community. If your father was a beloved doctor or your mother a celebrated teacher, who would believe you? Their public image becomes a powerful tool for gaslighting. When you try to speak out, you're dismissed as ungrateful or immature. The world sees a perfect family and it makes you question your own sanity. Am I the crazy one? Am I making all this up? This leads to a profound sense of isolation. Even your own siblings might have turned on you, siding with the powerful parent to avoid becoming the next target. They did the narcissist's dirty work by proxy, reinforcing the story that you were the problem. And the result? Your self-trust is completely eroded. You can't trust your own feelings because they were constantly invalidated. You can't trust your own perceptions because you were told your reality was wrong. You might end up living a life that feels totally inauthentic, maybe choosing a career or a partner you think will finally win that approval you crave, only to feel empty inside. This constant, desperate chase is exhausting. It keeps you stuck, replaying old wounds and living a life on their terms, not yours. But the cycle can be broken. The turning point comes when you realize the game is rigged and the only way to win is to stop playing. The journey from seeking their approval to building your own respect starts with a shift in perspective. For that, we can turn to the brilliant psychologist Carl Jung and his concept of the shadow. The shadow is made up of all the parts of yourself that you've repressed or disowned, usually because your family or society deemed them unacceptable. Think about it. What were you punished for as a child? Were you shamed for being too loud, too emotional, too assertive, too curious? Were you called selfish just for having needs? Those parts of you didn't just disappear. You just shoved them into the darkness of your unconscious mind because you learned they were bad. But here's the interesting part. These shadow aspects often contain our greatest strengths: our passion, our creativity, our assertiveness, our authentic voice. Healing, in a Jungian sense, is a process called individuation. It's about turning towards your shadow, bringing these hidden parts into the light, and integrating them back into your whole self. It's realizing that the qualities you were taught to be ashamed of are actually essential parts of who you are. The sensitivity they called a weakness is actually your empathy. The stubbornness they hated is your perseverance. The anger they couldn't handle is your passion for justice. Reclaiming these parts is an act of profound self-respect. It's you as an adult finally telling your inner child, it was not your fault. You are not too much. You are allowed to be fully and completely yourself. This isn't about blaming your parents. It's about taking your power back. You're no longer letting their definition of you be your truth. You're becoming your own source of validation. If Jung gives us the why for our healing, the need to become whole, then the ancient philosophy of Stoicism gives us the how. It provides the practical, day-to-day mental toolkit for building unbreakable self-respect. One of the most powerful tools from the Stoics is the dichotomy of control. The philosopher Epictetus put it simply, some things are up to us and some are not up to us. Things that are not up to us include other people's opinions, their actions, their approval, and their judgment. You cannot control whether your parents ever apologize. You can't control if they ever see the pain they caused. You can't control if they ever give you the validation you've been starving for. Trying to control these things is, in the Stoic view, a source of frustration and suffering. So what is up to us? Our own thoughts, our own judgments, our own actions, and our own values. This is the only place where we have true power. Self-respect from a Stoic perspective is the discipline of focusing every bit of your energy on what's in your control and learning to accept what's not. It means you stop asking, how can I make them approve of me? And start asking, what can I do today that aligns with my values of honesty, courage, and integrity? Your self-respect is no longer tied to their reaction. It's built moment by moment by the choices you make. When you choose not to get pulled into a pointless argument, that's an act of self-respect. When you set a boundary and stick to it, that's an act of self-respect. When you choose to speak your truth kindly but firmly, regardless of how it's received, that's the ultimate act of self-respect. This is liberation. You're taking the keys to your emotional well-being out of their hands and putting them back in your own pocket, right where they belong. Theory is great, but real change happens through action. Here are 3 concrete practices you can start today to build your self-respect. First, shadow integration journaling. Grab a notebook and take 15 minutes. Make 2 columns. In the first column, write down the negative labels your family gave you. Were you the dramatic one, the irresponsible one, the selfish one? Now, in the second column, find the hidden strength in that label. The dramatic one might be your deep capacity for feeling and empathy. The irresponsible one could be your creativity and refusal to conform to rigid rules. The selfish one is likely the part of you that knows how to protect your energy and honor your needs. This exercise helps you start reclaiming the parts of yourself you were taught to hate. Second, practice a daily inner court ritual. This is a Stoic-inspired habit. Every morning before you check your phone, take just 2 minutes. Identify one core value you want to live by today, like honesty, peace, or authenticity. Then, decide on one small, controllable action you'll take to honor it. For example, today I will honor my value of peace by not responding to a provoking text from a family member. This builds self-trust by proving to yourself day after day that you can count on yourself to have your own back. Third, create your boundary scripts. Setting boundaries can feel terrifying, so let's start small. Write down a few short, clear, and respectful lines you can practice. For instance, if a parent starts giving unsolicited advice, you could say, "I appreciate you're trying to help, but I've got this handled." Or if they bring up a past mistake to shame you, "That's in the past and I'm not going to discuss it anymore." Rehearsing these lines helps reduce the panic in the moment and lets you respond with dignity instead of reacting from old trauma. This journey isn't easy, but it is the most worthwhile one you will ever take. To help you get started, I've created a free downloadable self-respect inventory worksheet based on the principles we talked about today. It'll guide you through identifying your core values and creating your first set of boundary scripts. And I invite you to share in the comments, safely and without giving away details, one shadow quality you're choosing to reclaim as a strength. By sharing, we remind each other that we aren't alone on this path. For years you were taught a lie, that your worth was something others could give and take away. You were made to feel like a problem that needed fixing. But you were never the problem. The problem was a dysfunctional system that demanded you shrink yourself to make other people feel comfortable. The truth is, your worth is inherent and non-negotiable. The journey of healing isn't about finally getting your parents to see your value. It's about you seeing it for yourself, so profoundly and so completely that their approval becomes irrelevant. It's about integrating your shadow to become whole. It's about focusing on what you can control and letting go of what you can't. It's about choosing every single day to act in a way that earns your own respect. You don't need their approval. You need your respect. And your journey to reclaiming it starts now.